This podcast was created during the 2023 WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. We understand that without the creative influences of these unions, we wouldn't have a show to talk about. So we encourage you to continue to contribute to the Entertainment Community Fund. You'll find the link in the show notes, and continue to support it even after the strike is over. Thank you. Morghese, the Queen of Andor, has issued the following proclamation. This podcast shall be discussing the most recent episode of Wheel of Time. If you have not seen that episode and do not wish to be spoiled, go witness the dragon reborn in the latest episode and then return. So it is written, so shall it be done. Hey.
Most of the complaints I've seen are people that have read the book. Most of the complaints I've seen are people that have read the book. Most of the complaints I've seen are people that have read the book and they're upset about changes that were made in the adaptation.
Book readers, go to hell.
Yeah.
Book readers, go to hell. Book readers, go to hell. Go to hell.
Anything but the show.
Book readers, go to hell.
Yeah.
Anything but the
Book readers, go to hell.
Yeah, I love Buffalo.
Book readers, go to hell.
Yeah.
Book readers, go to hell.
Yeah, I love Buffalo.
Book readers, go to hell. Book readers, go to hell.
Yeah, I love Buffalo.
Book readers, go to hell.
Most of the complaints I've seen are people that have read the book. Yeah, I love Buffalo.
That might be what some people are saying to book readers that complained about these two episodes. Either they didn't like the Arches stuff, or they didn't like the LANFEAR reveal, or the way any of that worked, and they put their thumbs down. Heath and Andy from the DVR podcast said it best. The other thing that you should know about that particular tune is the fact that it is the launch of our contest, which will happen by the last week that Dragon Reborn, The Wheel of Time, airs on Amazon Prime. What we're going to do is, that video that you just saw on the YouTube will also be placed on the Twitter. There are 4 television franchises that were adapted from books that you can see kind of in those colorful little backgrounds. And if you can identify all 4 of them to me, you will be placed in a drawing to win a $100 gift certificate from Amazon to purchase towards whatever you want. It can be Wheel of Time stuff, like I've got this really nice Wheel of Time shirt right here. It can be whatever you want to do. If it's like Bubba, who actually Heath and Andy were complaining about, that he was complaining about the adaptation of Silo. That's right. And I'm sorry, Bubba, if that video hurts your eyes, because I know that your eyes are a little bit under strain, and that was kind of a little bit buzzy. But anyway, if you can identify all 4 franchises, there are actually 5 panels that go through that, but only 4 franchises. One of them is doubled. So you have to figure out which one is doubled, and then tell me which television series. Don't tell me the book names. Tell me the television series that those books were adapted into, and you will be entered into the contest. Again, 100 U.S. American worth of Amazon prize money. And folks, if you're on YouTube and you don't want to leave your answer in the comments, then you can send emails to mattsaudioblog@gmail.com, or you can tweet to me or send an X post to me. That just sounds so nasty. You can send it to Bust Blockbusters, or you can send them to the word double, the letters PHQ, and Bubba will forward them to me. In addition, you can always leave comments, hit like buttons, and all that stuff at Double P Media's YouTube channel. That's the word double, the letter P, the word media. Let's move on to getting right into the rating of these episodes. I am so happy that we got these episodes myself, but we got Season 2, Episode 3 last week, which is What Will Be, written by John McCutcheon and directed by Sana Hamri, with a synopsis of Nynaeve faces her greatest fears, Rand seeks guidance on his powers from an unexpected source. And then Season 2, Episode 4 happened this week, Daughter of the Night, written by Dave Hill, directed by, again, Sana Hamri. Moiraine searches for Rand, while Nynaeve mourns her losses.
All hail! The court of Morgase, Queen of Andor, is now in session.
Hail!
The Queen will now hear proclamations of ratings for this episode of Wheel of Time.
Priscilla, what was your rating of these two episodes together?
Well, like, if I have to have like a double rating for these two episodes, I would give like 9 out of 10 double M's.
Double M's?
Yes, multitasking Moiraine. I mean, I was complaining that Moiraine from the first two episodes was a little bit like, I understood that she was depressed, obviously, but I wanted more from her. And finally, I saw some glimpses, like in episode 4, she was finally there. Like, she doesn't need to have to touch the one source anymore because she has a dagger. And she can have the same, she can keep like bullying people the way she likes to do with the dagger. She gets results with the dagger. She doesn't need any threads of power, of like earth, of water. She doesn't need anything. She just needs a dagger and her attitude.
Well, I feel so guilty because we just heard Priscilla go 9 out of 10. I'm ready for people to duck. I'm ready for people to throw stuff at me. Remember, I haven't read the books. I was very excited about the first 2 episodes of Season 2. The 3rd episode, I'm like, I like where this is going. I like where this was going. And then because of 90% of Episode 4, I am only going to give this 6 quadruple Fs out of 10.
Quadruple Fs?
Fast forward to the fireworks factory. 90% of episode 4 is people moping. Lan's moping about missing Moiraine. Egwene is moping about, hey, I don't get power. I'm a maid here at the White Tower. Nynaeve is moping about her arch baby. Perrin is moping because he's a wolf brother. Rand is moping because he might go mad sometime in the future. You know who's not moping? The villains. The villains are getting stuff done. The heroes need to get active. Maybe 1 or 2 of the heroes I could take moping for an episode, but not all of them. The fireworks factory appeared at the very end. Oh, wait a minute, look at this. Oh, wait a minute, look at this. And the very end of episode 4 I loved, and most of episode 3 I loved. But the contemplative, everybody's in a bad place in the midway point of the season rather than active heroes that I like, it was tough with me. I haven't read the books. Maybe this is natural. The way you have to do it in an 8-episode season is to have the lull right around the middle. But I'm ready for this thing to hit the fireworks factory. Fast forward to fireworks factory. That's my take.
You said about the books, like I'm just in the 3 ones. And I have to say that like this mopping, like it happens a lot.
Oh, no.
Moping does happen a lot, yeah.
We'll spread it out. Like I said, I don't mind 2, maybe 3 people moping an episode, but like everybody in this episode was in a bad space.
I think only Moiraine doesn't mop much, and
Right,
even so,
yeah.
like on the second book, she mops a bit.
No.
Also, yeah.
As typical, I can see that I'm going to be rating everything higher than everybody else because that's just the way that I do. But I'm going to give this 9.5 out of 10, what I like to call double Ds.
Double D's.
Deus Damar, baby. Give me that Game of Houses any day. Even the Nynaeve stuff, of course, was just ridiculously sad for me, even through both of these episodes. And I've got some words for you people that are worried about her moping around. She spent years with that child, man, and then she lost it in a heartbeat. You tell me that won't make you mope around for a little bit. The thing about the Game of Houses, though, is that Liandrin seems to be the one that's playing the Game of Houses Deus Damar better than anyone else. I was super emotional about the Nynaeve stuff. I loved that kind of explorations between the wolves going and what they are, what the wolf brotherhood is. The Dark One, Perrin, Elias made everything clear to the viewers. You got Hopper. I finally got my Hopper. Thank goodness. And, Moraine's quest gained some focus. Although now, when you look back at that first episode, and she's seeing the Quindyar, and hearing that it's from Carian, and then seeing the prophecy, or getting that poem from all that from Baal Doman, you know that she's actually been working towards this the whole time. Which I love. That means that she was a lot more active than it just seemed on the show. Then there's the whole business with Elaine and Egwene, and yes, they kind of mope around. First they miss Nynaeve, and then they're worried about Perrin and what have you. The whole thing that really kind of brought it down for me a little bit was initially with Min's kind of cooperating with Liandrin. But I think that they saved that for me in the fourth episode quite a bit. The fact that she wants to get rid of these visions. And I honestly, guys, you know how much that I hate Rand. I can't even hate Rand in this episode. I even feel sorry for him. The poor guy. Look at the kind of luck that he has with women. It's a lot like my luck. The first girl that he falls in love with, she'd rather be anything but with him. She'd rather be a wisdom. She'd rather be an Aes Sedai. She does seem to care about him only after she thinks he's dead. And then he finds this other woman, and in 5 months he falls in love with her. It turns out that she's a Forsaken, and quite dead. Well, at least long enough for Rand to get away from her. So he's got some terrible luck with that. The only things that I took away from this episode was really a 0.2 for the pacing. I agree with Bubba. Most of the stuff was too slow. They could have built that up a little better. And then I took away 0.3 for getting rid of Uno, because I love Uno in the books. He goes on so many adventures where he gets to just do nothing but cuss through the whole, for whole paragraphs at a time. And now we're not going to get that. At least they've worked one good one in episode 1, and a little bit of one in episode 3. That's my rating.
So it is written, so shall it be done.
You probably care what Bubba and Priscilla think. You probably don't care what I think. But I tell you what, we absolutely care what you think. So please, we want you to contact us with what you thought about these episodes. Even don't wait on us to put a podcast about it out. If you see episode 5 before you see the podcast for us, go ahead and tell us. How do you do that? Well, you hit up Bust Blockbuster on all socials, or the word double, the letters PHQ on all socials. You can send emails to mattsaudioblog@gmail.com, mattsaudioblog@gmail.com, or you can send them to hello@doublepmedia.com. That's the word double, the letter P, the word media. And of course, you can leave comments on the YouTube channel for WP Media, youtube.com/@ the word double, the letter P, the word media, or you can even talk to Priscilla at Priscilla TV1 on the YouTube channels. She does great videos in Portuguese for the Portuguese-speaking audience on the Wheel of Time, and in the past has made some appearances on other podcasts, as well as us being lucky to have her here with us. That's going to take care of all of the housekeeping. Now, Bubba, I was looking over this because we were going to do another Bubba Has Questions segment. However, I don't think that Coach can actually host this because these are some pretty serious questions. This isn't something that we can really kind of joke around about. And there's stuff that requires some thought and some talk. So it's not like Priscilla and I can take opposing sides. Well, I suppose we could. Hey, Matt, what are you doing cutting my segment out? I'm sorry, Coach. It just doesn't work this time around. Let's get to Bubba Has Questions.
Guys, I have not read the books. I was tougher than maybe I should have been in grading these two episodes together because it's really just episode 4, which did not quite work for me. But as I mentioned, that fireworks factory, those fireworks start going off at the very end of episode 4. Now, I don't think they were huge shocks, but they were huge, okay, this is what we're dealing with. This is the story type moments. Celine, who Rand has been getting very close with. Rand have had sparks. They're hot for each other. They're fiery passion. Okay, enough fire things. Celine is evil, working with the Dark One. Leandrin, she's working with the Dark One. Like I said, these aren't exactly big shocks, but it sets up, okay, this is what the story is. This is the stakes our heroes have to overcome. So I did like them, but I wasn't super shocked. Was the fact that Celine is this, one of the forsaken evil people, was that a huge shock when you guys read the books?
Like in the second book, she appears, right? Celine. And she's very different, actually. She's not like... she appears basically also like they have this other parallel world, the world of dreams.
Oh, yes.
No? The context of the second book is completely other. Like Rand and Perrin are together.
Right, they're on the Great Hunt.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And they got separated. And Celine is like this woman. She's supposedly a noble woman that Rand has a crush on. And she's very sensual, but she keeps helping him, like with questions about how that world that is like parallel to us works. So because we know that she's kind of like channeling at some point. Whereas now in the series, she's like an innkeeper. I don't know. Yep. I don't understand. No, she's not a noble. She's supposedly like in this city for a long time. So it's different. I think the way that they did, I'm not sure if I agree 100%. I really like the review. Now, the Leandrin stuff is the thing that I'm really, really, really like having doubts here because I spent this whole episode trying to figure out when she sits with Nynaeve if Leandrin was not turned to the dark side yet. Because of the conversation she had with Nynaeve, like that you have to find something that is yours, then hold on to that. And if there's something that is only yours, it's gone, then you need to find another thing. And she has just like lost her son, she admitted, and she has like pouring her heart out about the curse of the Aes Sedai, which is kind of like the curse of the elves too in Tolkien, now that they never grow old, and they see the people that they love, like that's why they don't want to be together with humans, because then they would see the humans die, go old, and the Aes Sedai is the same. They have like the aging process slow down. And eventually everybody that they know, like from their family, friends, are going to die. That's why they prefer to be in the White Tower, secluded, and not have families and stuff. And Leandrin was saying, okay, basically, now that I lost my son, which is the thing that I have, what is next for me? I have to find another thing. So I was trying to figure out, is this the origin story now of Leandrin becoming a dark friend?
The one thing that I want to add to all of this, and I think puts it into context, is they have totally changed the way they're adapting the way the Forsaken work. In the books, all souls return to the wheel and then are spun out again in a different physical body. At the same time, Selene / LANFEAR, actually LANFEAR, disguises herself several times throughout the books as actually physically different people. Here, instead, the show has done the thing where, oh, well, she's just unkillable, but she's going to be in the same form. And why wouldn't you do that when you're a television show? You want to keep the same actors. You don't want to have to keep switching up and everything. I completely understand it, but it does tend to me to take some of that surprise away. And as for Liandrin, I feel like that, you know, there's a big turn in the books where essentially what happened at the end of episode 4 for that storyline does kind of happen in the books, except I think it's after they get to Falma as opposed to beforehand. And I love the complication of the fact that she's like, oh shoot, I've got the daughter heir of Andor here too. Sorry, got to do it. So I thought that was cool, the way they did that. But no, the shocks to me are better in the books than they are in the television show, Bubba, for sure.
At the end of the episode, Ishamael name drops Liandrin. So it's like, okay, then they are together anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Liandrin was sending men to him. So. Yeah,
that's what I said, because like this moment with Nynaeve got me figure out maybe she hasn't turned yet. Maybe that's what it is. But no, I was wrong. So that's how I ended the 4th episode.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, getting there is a journey. Absolutely, I agree. Bubba, what's your next question?
Okay, so I've watched the first 3 episodes, not really caring where on the map anybody was. I didn't really think I needed to know. But in this episode, it really felt like, oh, I should kind of know where everybody is in relation to each other, especially since Liandrin was talking about this attack happening in the West. So I started bringing up the map, the little feature on Amazon, which showed where everybody was. And this is just one map on a TV screen. But it really made it feel like where Rand was, and then where Moiraine shows up in episode 4. It really made it feel like that wasn't very far from the White Tower. Is that true of the books, or is it just a trick of this one map on Amazon?
Bubba, I think those distances are just a little bit deceiving on that particular map, because it also looks like that. It also makes it look like that the White Tower is as close to Faldara as it is to Carrion, and Faldara is where the end of the last season occurred. And it's just to the north, up there by the northern border. So it gives. Are they relatively close compared to where they're headed to Falma? Absolutely, but it's still. Look at it this way: it's still a whole episode's ride for Moiraine to get where she is, which is Varen's house, which allegedly is fairly close to Tarvalon, and to get all the way to Carrion. So if she's going for a full episode, then it's at least a couple days ride. That's not far. Just a couple days ride is not bad.
Sure. Okay. Last week, when we were talking about episode 1 and 2, I was very doubtful that the one person was talking with Perrin, and was saying, hey, did you ever think that maybe Padden Fane has a reason for allowing those Trollocs to attack the Two Rivers? And I thought, well, this is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? You're going to come up with a reason why somebody would allow Trollocs to attack the Two Rivers? Then after these 2 episodes, I suddenly thought, oh, maybe they are trying to show why someone would join the Dark One's path. So Min, she wants to get rid of having these visions. Are they tormenting her enough to where she would join the Dark One? And then Liandrin, she's got this son. She wants, help for the son. She doesn't want the son to die. And I'm thinking, is that why maybe she's helping the Dark One? And I suddenly thought, do characters in this world have reasons for going bad, or are some just bad? Is that too early to talk about now? But it definitely, through episode 4, felt like it was trying to hint that, hey, these people, they're not just born bad. They have strong motivations to join the Dark One. What do you think?
Well, Priscilla, your experience is just through the first 3 books, right? And my experience is through all of the books. And I will say that to me, a lot of the truly badass guys are kind of one note in a lot of ways. Their complications aren't drawn out that much. On the other hand, some of the lesser, I guess the level 1 pit bosses or game bosses, they're fairly complex and interesting. It's just that you don't spend near as much time as I would like to with the Forsaken themselves. Outside of when you start to get into books 4 through 6, you spend a lot more time and you understand the dynamic between them themselves, but not really that much the dynamic between themselves and the world. So the answer to your question is yes and no. Yes, sometimes you will get great reasons why people are doing some things, and sometimes you'll just say, yeah, it's just a bad guy.
Hey, that's good enough for me. It's exciting. I hope they don't give Padden Fane a reason. I just want him dead. I hate him so much.
On that, let's spin the wheel of topics. The lettering is so small. I can't tell where it landed. I know that the subjects are, the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, all things Nynaeve. The Game of Houses, Days Damar, or I'm a Monster Too, which is Rand and LANFEAR. We have one I know according to the sheet of paper that says pour one out for Uno and all things Seanchan and Perrin for both episodes. And then we have one that's called It's Miller Time, or maybe it's In Bev Time, depending on your product preference. Egwene and Elaine, everything, regarding the mopping duo there. And what were you going to say on that one, Bubba? I know that when I suggested this topic, you said something.
I said Miller Time. It's more like maid time. Egwene and Elaine are like maids in the White Tower. And I'm thinking these Aja, these Aes Sedai, they're so powerful. There aren't any spells or powers they could use to clean this place so somebody doesn't have to manually mop. Give me a break.
And then for another topic, we have Sherlock Sedai. That would be Moiraine, a.k.a. the best therapist in the history of therapists. And we have Matt, might be a bad gambler, but Min is the real loser, ? Lan, a casualty of Moraine's loss of powers, or just a weird way to tie in the prophecy with the LANFEAR reveal, which probably is pretty much just the only topic of conversation there. And then we'll think if there's anything else that we haven't covered. But once again, I can't read this. Bubba makes fun of me constantly. He can read it better than I can, and he just had his eyes dilated. What does it say, Bubba?
Well, I think it is time to pour one out through Uno. Excuse me, for Uno. I gave him a beer and it just went right through him. I don't, I always say, I say it too much. I haven't read these books, but I did somehow online see Wheel of Time book fans being really upset that Uno is no more. He's a Numo. He's not anymore. But nothing against the character. He stood out. He was memorable. But to me, him dying was not it was a moment to show how powerful the other side was, not necessarily here's a tragedy for this character that is a TV show or viewer you've become attached to. So, if you guys want to mourn Uno, let's have it.
I think actually that they should kill more people.
Whoa. Bloodthirsty Priscilla.
Let's kill Nynaeve right now. How about it? You want to kill Nynaeve?
No, I don't think you should kill Nynaeve.
What about Elaine? Can we kill Elaine?
Character.
Is Elaine okay? Can we kill her?
Do not kill her.
No, Bubba likes her. No, you should not kill. No, but I want more people dying. Yes, I want like a couple more every season. You introduce like 7, then you kill 2. Just keep the balance.
What about Loyal? I mean, he'll be hard to kill.
I mean, we fake killed Celine this season. No?
Yeah.
She's dead, but she's not.
Oh, those eyes came back open. Yeah.
Yeah.
in this story, and maybe you guys can educate me on this again, they're called the Seanchan, the bad guys.
Seanchan.
Seanchan are bad guys in this story. And remind me why some of the women wielders of the one power in the Seanchan have their mouths almost covered and prevented from doing anything. Why would that be? Because they can't tell lies? Why do you have a woman soldiers with that mouth thing in?
It is a form of restraint, Bubba. It's
Okay.
the way you notice that anytime a woman with one of those pieces in their mouth is doing magical things, there's a woman behind them controlling them. They are essentially the slave masters of these people. So they are using these people, these one power wielders, against their will and making them perform magic for magical reasons. Put that on top of the fact that we saw, this whole entourage holding up this huge throne being carried on the shoulders of men.
Yep.
All of those men are slaves. It is a slave culture. One of the things about this whole culture, and one thing that I also love, is that Robert Jordan actually said that they talk with a Texas Southern drawl accent, right? That was his description of the
Well, then thank God they've got a gag on some of them. I mean, the Texas drawl, get rid of it.
But I love the way that Karina McAdams and oh gosh, what's Uno's wife's name that plays the character of Alwyn? Anyway, I love their American accents. I love the woman pointing Uno out, speaking in an American accent, because these people say, you're squatters. We were here first. That's the big argument of the Seanchan. We want to be here first. And that to obey, to await, to serve. I mean, it's a pledge to slavery. These are despicable people. And I can't wait to see something happen to them.
All righty. Well, our heroes that on that side of the story are all about to be slaves, except Perrin. Now, this confused me a bit, and it makes me fear for Perrin. He's like put almost in his own wagon, and then Ishmael comes to his wagon and says, hey, the more wolf you are, the more you're on my side. Then almost immediately after that, the other wolf brother frees him. And so I'm thinking, is this other wolf brother a dark friend? Is he working for Ishmael? It doesn't feel like it in episode 4, but it definitely makes me worry for Perrin. He is going to have to go nonviolent if he's around these evil people who want him to do their bidding.
Well, like Bubba is afraid that Perry might turn to the dark side. Is that correct? Because of the wolf brother thing?
That's what it feels like. Like, yeah, you are an animal. You've lost all control. And is this, remind me of the person with Perrin, the other wolf brother?
Elias. He likes raw meat on the bone.
Right. Is Elias evil because he showed up right when Ishmael left? That's my fear.
Baba, do you play video games?
And thank God, no.
Okay. There is like a very well-known property called Dragon Age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dragon Age basically, it's basically Wheel of Time, like in terms of magic, because I don't know, like I cannot remember, like, but Robert Jordan, I think, was among the first ones, like either writing magic as something like to be feared, almost like that it's very dangerous. So there's like you see on season 1 of Wheel of Time, they making this point to show now. That's why I have to go to the White Tower, because even women they are not exempt from something going wrong. And then in the last episode, we see how those that women linked, like on the last episode, that they like half of them died. So that's why they need training, because it's very dangerous thing. No? Like the wolf brother thing is something more or less the same. It's not that they are channelers, but it's also very dangerous to them, because they can get stuck in a state of like they are not really men anymore. They are like this animal. So that's what Ishmael was telling him, that like basically it's a dangerous state. And when Elias comes and he explains that like the Aes Sedai don't like them because they don't understand what they are.
Right.
it's exactly like this. Like it's not something. It's something like if an Aes Sedai, if somebody that can channel is already like very rare, like a wolf brother is also very rare, and there is no literature. Nobody knows much about it, so they fear what it is more than like know what it is. So that's like in this context. I think if Ishamael would come to Perrin and like tempt him, hey, you don't wish to be a wolf brother anymore. Same thing he's doing with me now.
Yeah.
That Perrin he would just say no because of his friends. You know, so that's there is this fear because it's something that they don't know anymore, and it's inherently dangerous. But it also comes with the people. Like if you don't want to deal with Ishamael, if you don't want to betray your friends, you're not going to.
Can we talk about a couple of things that we learned from episode 4, though? For one thing, we know that Elias doesn't cook anything. But the most important thing that we learned is the fact that those visions that we saw Perrin having in the first 2 episodes, that we thought were just his heightened wolf senses or whatever, is actually the wolves communicating with him. Now, I know a lot of people had called that already. I thought it was Perrin using his senses, so I just wanted to say I was completely wrong about that. It was the wolves communicating with him, and I love that. The fact that that explains why when they did those panning shots of Perrin, when he was checking this stuff out, you would always see everybody else being frozen completely still, except Elias. And it wasn't the fact that Elias was using the same senses. It's because they were communicating in that wolf way, the same way that Hopper communicated, or the other wolves communicated that there was a deer down nearby that they could get some meal for, and the fact that they could, that Hopper could give his name, or at least close enough, to Perrin. I loved all of that. I loved that explanation. It works for me. I don't remember if it's exactly the same way as it is in the books, but I do know that there's communications between wolf brothers and wolves in the books, made very clear. We'll have to see to what extent this goes, but at least they've laid the groundwork for it, for future encounters with wolves, whoever they may be with.
Matt, is Perrin a top 10 character for you?
Cool. Not until book 4. Not until book 4.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest, not until book 4. I'm assuming he's not a top 10 for you right now at all.
No, but I wanted you to spoil me that he lives till book 4. So thanks for that. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're going to love him in season 3.
Okay, good.
He's going to survive this season. Sorry for the spoiler, folks, but he is going to survive. Where did the wheel land, Priscilla?
Oh, so Sherlock Sedai, Moiraine, the best therapist in history of the therapists. I don't understand why is Moiraine called a therapist here.
Yeah, I don't either. She certainly didn't go to therapy with her sister.
She went to see Logain. She went to see Logain. Are you being
ironic? Okay.
Yes, I am being ironic. She went to see Logain and offered him a knife.
A way out of his misery, right?
Yes. You don't tell a patient to commit suicide. That's why she's the best therapist in the history of therapists.
Hold on, Matt. Matt, you're saying that because Logain is suicidal and she's going to give him a knife, she also shouldn't get him drunk on wine.
Yeah.
Listen, get him drunk, give him a knife, one character down. That makes Priscilla happy. More death.
Yeah, true. True that.
We're going to need Logain. Yeah. We're going to need Logain, ladies.
We are going to need Logain. Even me, a stupid non-book reader, knows, okay, Rand is not anywhere able to fight these Forsaken. And Moiraine is cut off from the one power. So somebody's got to take Rand to task and teach him something. We do need Logain. That's what I think.
Bubba, are you not underestimating Rand? Because the same way he paid Rand, he can also take the other Forsaken.
Oh,
He already
sorry.
took
Okay.
the
Oh,
one
sorry.
Forsaken.
I thought you were going to say that's how he was going to pay Logain for the training. I was like, Rand, I really am underestimating you, rent payer.
Yeah.
Moiraine. So I was just kind of tough on saying, hey, is Perrin not one of my top 10 characters? Not right now. Obviously, I like Moiraine. The show puts her front and center and makes her the smart one, the one with knowledge. So we, of course, like that person. But I have to be honest, I couldn't truly get into the family drama with her younger sister. And
Really? I think it was so clear what it was
good.
about.
Well, no, I understood it. It just didn't pull me in as much as her stabbing somebody through the back in the middle of Whoopi, which I love. But what do you think, Matt? Moiraine had to go through some big changes. She said, Lan, you're getting kicked to the curb. I'm all Rand all the time. And now she's doing what she's saying. She's a woman of her word. She's gonna be with the Dragon Reborn no matter what.
Well, I think one of the most important things is to see that she has been putting all of this together the whole time. That it's not like she just showed up at Carrion and because her sister took over her eyes and ears that she was able to find Rand. She's been knowing that she needs to find him. She already knew that he was there because she talked to Logain into training him. She's being Moiraine Sedai without having the one power. And I think that that's intriguing. And the family stuff was great for me. Her sister absolutely idolizes her, but realizes how, and the history behind that, how she's had to save the family house because their uncle had committed some kind of bad thing. I thought that all of that was fantastic. And I understand that people wouldn't get into it, but if you're into the books and you know just a little bit about Moraine's history, then I love the way that they expanded upon that quite a bit. And that made it for me.
Well, Moiraine, I think like the scene with the sister, like should make her realize that, because okay, she doesn't have the powers, but she still acts as an Aes Sedai, like the world is at her disposal, no?
Yeah.
And Moiraine has some like it's not coldness, but she's very calculating, like in the ways she does things. So maybe this kind of shows her that like there are other methods how she can achieve the same the same results. All she needed to do was to ask the woman who has been living in that city for like decades.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to shut her off because she doesn't want to get involved with the family business or the family dynamics anymore, because has been gone for so long. She doesn't want to spend time with her sister, doesn't want to have tea. All she needed to do was to sit, have tea with her sister and ask, did you see this guy? Do you know what he is? But she lost time.
Let's just get Moiraine back her power. Let's get Moiraine back her power and let's get on with it, because we need some powerful people on the good guy side who can kick serious tail. All right, spin that wheel.
Okay, so the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, all things Nynaeve for both episodes. So well, you hate Nynaeve or not?
No, I hate Nynaeve. What is this hate? I will get to Lan in a minute, who I don't want to say I hate. I just don't like seeing him on the show. You told me, you were like...
Do you like to see Lan on the supermarket, perhaps? But not on the show?
Right. It'd be better to see him at the supermarket, not on the show. Now, you told me, because you saw episode 3 before I did, you loved episode 3. And a part of me, because you loved it so much, and I'm watching Nynaeve do the trials with the arches, a part of me was thinking, oh, this is great. I had two thoughts. Number one, I thought, oh, she'll be in these arches for several episodes, and then when we need a hero, she'll come out of the arches. That didn't happen. Then the second thing I thought, and again, this is me spinning up ideas because you were so high on that third episode, is I thought to myself, you know what would be great? Isn't this horn they're looking for? Doesn't it do something like raise the dead or help the dead help you? I thought, well, that's how they're going to get Nynaeve out of the arches. They're going to blow the horn. That didn't happen either. Instead, it was Nynaeve using the one power inside the arch for I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but using the one power inside the arch. Is that and maybe this got lost on me, is that like a big no-no? Or is that like she did something impossible? She called on the one power inside the arch. Which one
She
is?
did something impossible,
Okay,
basically.
well then,
And
heck yeah, let's go.
I didn't understand the first time I saw, even on my review, I was like, who opened it? And I thought, because the way they cut it, I thought that somehow like Egwene had managed it, but then she like got exhausted and she passed out. That's what I understood. And then Nynaeve came. But no, several people said, no, it was Nynaeve. And I watched again, and in fact, it was Nynaeve. And this is supposed to be impossible. That's why they have Sedai on the other side to open it.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly why.
Yeah. She has so much raw power, Bubba, yet she can't use it because of her block. She either has to be angry or afraid, and in all of those cases, or especially in that case, she was angry and she was afraid, and she took out some Trollocs, and at the same time she reactivated the arches in a way. So I loved that. I think what's more compelling is, what is it that Nynaeve fears? What is it that she actually fears that comes out of those arches? And that is, to me, being helpless. She's being someone who is unable to help. In all of those situations, she was a child. She wasn't able to help her parents. She was not allowed to be the wisdom and didn't have the Aes Sedai powers to heal the plague in the second one.
Right.
And she watched all of her friends die. Not only that, she had spent years in that arch. For her, it had been years, and had that bond of family with Matt, with Perrin, with Lan, with that child. Man, when she came out and she had that blood all over her shift, I just fell to the floor. I died. It was
the blood of her daughter.
The child. It was the blood of her daughter, and it was just awful. And so that's why when people got onto this fourth episode about Nynaeve moping around and whatever, I'm like, you spend years with your child and then suddenly lose them and tell me you're not going to mope around for a few months. She got back on her feet pretty quickly, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe too quickly.
I would say, because I'm one of those people that said too much moping, is that yes, she lived through them, but she knows, in the way I understand it, I know that was just a vision. She, in that fourth episode, is any part of it real? Is any part of it real? If any part of it is real, that didn't come across to me. That was, hey, this is a future what may be.
Yes, it came across that way to you. But if you live it, if you develop those emotional attachments,
but
those are just as real as if it actually happened. You don't believe it? Okay, fine.
When I wake up from a dream,
let's be clear here. Bubba has like a cold heart.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. I'm saying a dream can affect me, and then I wake up and I realize, oh, it was just a dream.
Yeah, but you don't spend years in a dream developing emotional attachment.
Hold on. Did you see Inception? You do spend years in dreams.
Fair enough. I give up. What else about Nynaeve in these episodes? Anything else? I love some of these rules, which are brought up in the book. Things like, once you begin, you can't stop, or you'll be thrown out of the tower. Things like these are ter'angreal, and that many ter'angreal are simply avoided because they're dangerous. Now, somehow they've known how this one works for some time, and they can use it effectively. Another rule was that no one will be able to use the one power in the arches. Well, we broke that rule now, and just all kinds of the ritual. There's one black bucket. There's one white bucket. All of your sins will be cleansed, and all sins against you, just don't tell us. Basically, just don't get too personal and don't tell us. Your sins are your own. We don't want to know. All of these kinds of things are stuff just straight from the books that I just absolutely love that they included. And the washing and the different buckets. That third bucket's got the ancient Aes Sedai symbol on it.
I just want to say that, like, they managed to have, in my opinion, the best blend of what is in the books and what you can change from the books with Nynaeve. You know, you have like some of the things that that tell her are from the books, straight from the books, the dialogue, some of the things, but the sequences, what she goes through inside the arches, is much more personal, much more like heartbreaking than in the books. If they could ever manage to capture these two things in the perfect mix that they did with Nynaeve in the Arches for the whole series, that would be great.
Can we talk about Nynaeve's choice at the end of episode 4? Is she free to go with Leandrin and just split up and leave and be like, okay, I did the Arches, I'm going to go help my friends?
She did say in the episode, as an accepted, she's allowed to leave the tower.
Even though her color hasn't been decided, she's currently walking around in white. Is she a white Aja? What's going on?
She's got those cuffs on now, which are the multiple colors, which means she's about to choose an Aja. She also now has a ring.
Okay.
She doesn't have a stone in it because she hasn't chosen her Aja.
Okay, so she could just leave if she wants to. She could say,
"Yep,
peace out.
Anytime she wants.
Got to help my friends. Later, losers."
Anytime she wants.
But wait a minute. If they have to do what she says, if she says, "Come with me, losers," they would go.
Yeah.
Okay, there.
Yeah, it's all a lot of crazy, stupid technicalities. But the sergeant orders the privates to go. Actually, the sergeant said, "I'm not going to order you to go, but you can come." And Egwene says, "I volunteer." So
there you go. Just like the army.
And I love Egwene. I mean, maybe this is more for an Egwene topic, but I just love her motivations finally being made clear, because in the books, it's not quite as, what can we say? It's not quite. It's more self-serving.
Yeah, like she's more ambitious.
Right.
I would say.
Right.
But like they changed a lot in the Egwene story, that it makes sense for the TV show Egwene.
I agree. Unbelievable, Bubba. I can actually read this. It is Miller time. You want to talk about Egwene and Elaine? Do you have anything? I just love Elaine in these episodes.
Yes. Amen. Let's go. I loved Egwene in season 1. I thought she was the main character. I love her new partner in crime, Elaine. They really, once again, don't seemingly have much of a story on their own, but I am so excited for them to get active. I don't care if they're allowed to or not. Let them leave the tower. Let's let these young wannabes get out there and start using the one power for some good. That's what I want to see. And I think they make a good pair and a good odd couple pair.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bubba, you are like, you just want to see people kicking ass, right? That's what you want to do.
Yes, and other people receiving that. Yes, kicking. Those are two different.
The bad guys get their butts whooped. That's what he wants.
Or the good guys. It's okay if the good guys lose. Hold on. Do you want to see somebody mopping for any more episodes? No.
That's a quadruple M, Bubba. I mean, it's mopping, moping, and making magic.
It's mopping time.
It's
do you
just
want to see like more mopping?
Look.
Okay. Then.
Anytime Rand appears, there will be some mopping. This I can tell you.
That is true.
Automatic. It's like
he leaves a mess everywhere. I got to pay the rent. Get the mop.
He's terrible, I have to admit.
Okay, hold on. Matt, I keep going top 10 on you. I'll pull you in, Priscilla, as well. Egwene or Elaine, do either or both make your top 10 so far in this show, in these characters? I want to say yes for me.
In the show?
Yes. Yes.
Definitely in the show.
Okay.
Yeah. My love for either of them, depending on whether they live or die, varies greatly as I read the books. But it goes wildly from one extreme to the other sometimes. But in the show so far, there is absolutely nothing to hate about either of them. And I would definitely put Elaine probably in my top 5.
Whoa.
Yeah. And Min too.
To be completely honest, like in terms of motivations, I think Egwene might be the most consistent.
Oh, good.
Of them all. Like in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the show, like Matt comes and goes. Rand is just like, I'm Rand.
Everybody hates Rand.
Nynaeve. It's not. I don't hate Rand. I just.
Oh, that's right.
I just wish I just wish he was a little bit different, just that. And Nynaeve has her ups and downs, and Perrin is struggling. So Egwene is just like, I'm Egwene, I want to do this. It might not work, but I'm trying.
Heck yeah.
I love that.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. One of the things that I really loved and that was exemplified really well for me as far as Elaine goes is that sense of diplomacy, because Elaine has that throughout, even through my reread. I've re-noticed it, that she understands how to make people see a way through something. She's helping Egwene in that way in episode 3, even in episode 2 with the kind of, is it a jealousy issue or not? And I loved the way that Elaine does all of this. Poor Bubba, your eyes just must be killing you. I'm sorry, brother. And especially when I'm talking about Elaine and the light off of my glasses is bouncing right into your eyes.
No. Sorry. Listen, I want to
look on your face told me, like, can we talk about anything but Elaine?
No. Sorry. You're right. This stupid thing I'm wearing because of my dilated eyes is annoying me. But I love these characters. You could talk about them for hours. I'm not gonna be negative.
But you look good with this strange thing on your eyes.
I know they are mixing these two stories and so much is away from the books, but because I do like these two characters, Egwene and Elaine, can you guys see where the story is going? Are you guys excited where these two might go? Okay, I see a thumbs up.
I am very excited.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's going to be horrible and it's going to be great.
Yes.
At the same time.
Horrible and great. Yeah.
Okay, so they're mopping, but it's especially clean. So it's horrible because they're mopping, but great because now the floor is clean.
Oh, someone asked the question. I don't remember when it was, but wouldn't you just have an Aes Sedai? If an Aes Sedai, wouldn't you just use the one power to do the mopping? Why
That's what I did. Yeah, I asked that.
Oh, you asked that question. Well, the answer is that you can do that, but it is highly discouraged by the Order, because, as Egwene said in the first episode, it builds character.
Bubba doesn't want to see characters being built.
Well, Bubba
I don't want to see mopping. Anything else? How about build my character while I'm destroying a Trolloc? That also builds character.
Bubba just doesn't like character development, period. So it's
my God. Oh my God. The slander that is happening against me. You guys have made such a mess of this podcast. I'm going to ask Egwene and Elaine to bring them up.
Well, Bubba, I can't read it. Where did it land?
Oh my God.
Well, the key word is where did it land? And so that means it landed on
land. Yeah. A casualty of Moiraine loss of powers, or just a weird way to tie the prophecy to the LANFEAR reveal. I think it was a weird way to tie the prophecy to the LANFEAR reveal, and he is a casualty of Moiraine loss of power. So it's both. It's not either or, it's both. And Lan has been the weakest link for a couple of episodes now. And I was very enthusiastic about Alanna actually going to Lan and saying, hey, Lan, how about you go to the White Tower? Because your girlfriend is about to become an Aes Sedai.
Yes.
And guess what? You can be her warder. And I was like, so confused when I said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, my life is over. And I was like, what the heck?
Right. Nynaeve needs a warder. You need a Aes Sedai. Let's go. But no, Lan instead thinks, I'm gonna emotionally mop here.
She wasn't gonna let him go. He doesn't like salt.
No. I hate this. I hate when the story forces a character just to do something because the writer said, no, that's what you're going to do. Remember like Game of Thrones where like Varys said, no, Jon Snow cannot marry Daenerys Targaryen because they are incompatible. It's not about being compatible. It's a medieval fantasy. People get married for like military alliances. What you are like, you are paid to do that.
But can't
Why
you
are
at
you
least be a
saying
thirst
no?
trap along the way?
Matt
Yeah.
dropping the thirst trap. Okay, sure, let's roll.
And
I
then
mean,
Lan was like, no, there is no reason for that. Do you think there is a reason for Lan to refuse to be Nynaeve's warder?
Yeah, Matt, let's hear it. Defend Lan.
he's suffering from Moiraine withdrawal.
Come on.
But the whole idea here that I found very interesting was the principle of the masking, because it almost seemed like that was a no-no last season. Turns out everybody does it. Evidently.
one
A
time.
lot-
But that was another scene. That was the scene with Lamb and the warder, like the blonde warder, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
that was with Mascom. And I love learning all these little rules and everything. I think that that's important. And you got to use a thirst trap like Lan in order to get those rules taken sometimes, because nobody will pay attention to them otherwise.
But he had his shirt on.
He's got
But
a
he
new
had his hair
hairstyle, though. Did you
down.
notice
He
that?
had his
a new
hair down,
hairstyle,
baby.
yeah.
I mean, come on. That's great. He's not all tied up
So
in a
basically,
ponytail anymore.
what you're saying is that the episode would have been better if we cut the nonsensical scene with Lan refusing to be Nynaeve's warder for reasons we don't know, and just go to Lan and Maxim talking about the masking of the bomb.
I'd have traded a Logain scene for shirtless Lan anytime. But
You
that's
want
just-
shirtless Lan?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Don't you?
Yes.
Anything else on Lan? I just think that, it was an awkward way to be able to tie so that we could have the big Bubba, you talk about how all this stuff and you want more like the end, but it took that thing, Lan having that poem, having that prophecy, and them discovering it to create all of that back and forth, along with the first scene with the Dark One actually raising LANFEAR to make that even much more dramatic. I thought that was brilliant.
I still want like an episode devoted exclusively to LANFEAR and Ishamael from their point
that'd be
of view.
great.
That's what I want.
Wonderful.
I want to know. I want to know what they're feeling inside their cold hearts.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trapped inside these pieces of, stone for so long.
Yeah.
Get out and stretch yourself. Kick back, find a hot young ginger and get busy. That's what LANFEAR did.
I want to know exactly what Ishamael has been doing this past 6 months.
He's been keeping that beard on point. There is no miss snip in that beard.
Definitely goes to see the hairdresser.
Right. And then I should point out Selene/LANFEAR. Her hair is the darkest black. It's unnaturally black.
So
You know,
black
I
that
think
it's
she
almost
is
blue.
wearing a wig, right? Is she wearing a wig?
It's a wig or it is dyed crazy because it is very
It's
striking.
perfect. Yeah, she's amazing. I really like her.
And looky there. Just like my roulette playing and wheel spinning, Matt might be a bad gambler, but is Min the real loser is where this one landed. There's not a whole lot to talk about here, so we can go through it real quick. I felt really, I thought that it was a nice way to marry the two portrayals of Matt Cawthon by having them both be outside an archway where there were friends in need, just like in when they left for the Ways in season 1, and the way Egwene was crying on that bench, and then not going in, not participating. That sealed the deal. That married the consistency of the character for me between Barney Harris and Donald Finn. I thought that was absolutely magnificent. And poor Matt, he just doesn't have a clue. Leandrin's giving him a chance, knowing that Leandrin is just all over these episodes, manipulating. She knows that Matt's going to come back. She knows. She's been watching this guy for 5 months. She knows Matt much better than Moiraine knows how to treat Logain. So she absolutely, and also Leandrin, not a good therapist, but she absolutely manipulated Matt into returning and coming back for Min. They knew that this whole thing, this doorway between the cells, the whole time, it's revealed that Min is going to do this for Leandrin because she doesn't want to have the visions anymore. And who would want those visions? When you look at a person and you see how they're going to die, that's pretty awful. The question that I have for you, Bubba, is because I don't know what Min knows about Rand himself. Surely there's been talk that he has died between some of the Aes Sedai and what have you, or maybe Leandrin thinks that he has died, although given Leandrin's allegiances, she might know that that's not the case. But given that Min had that vision of Matt stabbing Rand with that dagger, is she the only one out that is with our main groups that knows that Rand is still alive, outside of Moiraine, of course?
Outside of Moiraine. And Lan, though, do you think Lan in his moping told other people, hey, you know that Dragon Reborn kid, he's still alive? I doubt he told anybody else. But
let me just present a theory here.
Let's hear it. I want finally a theory. Let's go.
Okay. Like this vision of Min with Matt and Rand. Remember the first season that Rand and Matt talking about killing each other, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Right. If it comes to this point, I'll kill you. If
it
comes to that point, you kill me. Oh, yeah.
Well, Matt is not, he wasn't there with them in the ways, he wasn't there with them. He doesn't know anything that happened to Rand, like at the eye of the world, right?
No, he doesn't.
So maybe this is something that is like, it's not actually a vision that Min is seeing of a future, but what Matt fears will happen when he sees Rand another time. Maybe it's like some projection of Matt. Because she doesn't react, because Matt says, I don't want to know about the future.
Right.
To her?
I think you do have to, that does have to pay off in one way or another. To me, it could be a thing, and again, I know nothing, but how did episode 4 end? Episode 4 ended with somebody getting stabbed and then waking up, they're fine. To me, it's possible that good old Matt is going to stab Rand, and then Rand's going to pull a LANFEAR and be like, I'm good.
Okay.
That's the Shadow Loga's blade, though. So I thought it was what it was implying, that is, if he's seduced by that blade again, it could mean Rand's death. That's the way that I interpreted it. But again, that's just an interpretation. I like what you guys are saying too, so it's as good for me as any.
Or maybe they're just playing around.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like, hey, stabby, stabby.
Right. They're reenacting Hamlet, and they're like, hey, this will be the scene. I'll be Polonius, and you pretend to stab
Caesar. Me. Yes.
Matt, from the way you talk, I think that Min might be in your top 10. Is that true? That this poor woman suffering from these visions, who's going to turn to the dark side, is in your top 10? Yay or nay?
Min is absolutely in my top 10. She's been in my top 10 since book 1.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
She's very cool. Yeah.
She's very, very cool. They're not quite getting the cool. They are getting some of the cool from the books into her in the television show, but I'm hoping that they get more. And I don't know, with her going with Matt and all this, what this means for future storylines. I don't know what's going to be cut. I don't know. There was something in episode 4 that implied to me that there might be something happening at the tower that's in the books. And then there's been other things in other episodes that have made me think, well, they're not going to do that. So, because it's just weird, because they've stretch the characters out in so many different places that I don't know exactly how that's going to happen. I don't even think you're there yet, Priscilla, so I'll say nothing more.
You can say anything you want. I'm not, I like spoilers.
Yeah, but Bubba will kill me if I spoil you.
I'll kill you better than those people who killed Loyal.
Yeah. That's for sure. They failed.
Loyal was just like
Pat and fail.
he just wanted to go to take a nap.
So
That's what happened.
We've got some feedback on that whole thing that I ranted and rave about last week that I can't wait to get to because it just made me feel a whole lot better.
all right. Well, there are a couple more topics on this wheel, and I think we got to spin because it's going to end up on everybody's favorite character, Rand.
Oh yeah.
Rand is with Logain. That's kind of episode 3 is him navigating his way around Logain. And episode 3 ends with him in that fiery, steamy, smoky night of passion at the inn. And then episode 4 begins with a fire sale at the inn. Then, when your girl says, hey, let's go up to Kinslayer Dagger, you're like, what now? Why don't we go to the Happy Valley? No. Let's go to Kinslayer Dagger. What? So that should have been his first sign that this lady, she no good. And they went up and they continue to bond about how they both feel like they don't have a place in the world. They sleep outside the cabin. Terrible move. And then they're attacked by a fate. Holy smoke. I love these fates. We need more fates because they are so hideous looking. And it's scary. And so many times Rand is using the power. And as a viewer, I'm thinking, is Rand really using this power or Selene kind of using the power to destroy the Fade, to burn down the inn?
That was actually a debate among some book readers last night.
Yeah, well, I thought it even the previous week in episode 3 where they had their, smoky night of love. But then finally, she's tying him to the bed, and that's not good. This is a bad sign.
Hey, I think Rand was into it.
Well,
you might not be into it, but I think Rand
maybe
was
at first.
It was a double M.
Double M.
Yeah, Melisandre moment. Her with Gendry.
Right.
It definitely had that vibe. Even her posture on top of him had that same vibe. I loved the creepiness of all of that, especially when she got right up in his ear. Can I tell you something? I mean, it was Natasha O'Keeffe is absolutely killing it. They did a really super job casting her as LANFEAR. My problem is that we've got this, and now it seems like we only have which again, I understand it makes perfect sense for television. You don't want a whole bunch of actresses and everything, but there's not going to be any surprise as there is in the books when
about who is LANFEAR now, because she keeps almost changing bodies.
Right. I mean, they could have stand-in actors for like a part, and then you cut, and it looks like it's
right, and they revert back to this look. But that's true.
But you don't get Natasha O'Keeffe doing those lines. That's the problem that I have with it. If you do that, so that's the only drawback for the way that they treated Moiraine's handling of her, which I loved. I thought that was I as a book reader, of course, I did not expect that at all. It was a great surprise seeing that Heron Mark sword.
I loved it. I loved it too.
It was fantastic.
Absolutely. I was like, yeah, Moiraine, go. It was so cool. Yeah.
Was there ever an alternate take where Moiraine comes up and stabs a person and then goes, oh, whoops. No, that person wasn't Forsaken. Sorry, Rand. We got to leave or we're going to be charged with homicide.
Rand, we got to get out of here. So
do you guys think Rand had deep feelings for her, or was she just a vessel to help him get past his pain? And I mean Selene, not for the hideous Forsaken that she is.
They're still portraying some aspects of Rand like he's a 14-year-old kid. But they're putting him in a 20-year-old body. His thing with Egwene is over. And he moved on to Selene.
Hey, Matt, I have to protest that.
There we go. Thank you.
We spent some time discussing this thing, exactly, Rand and Egwene, if they were broken up. And you said they were not broken up like that Rand was cheating on Egwene. I said they were broken up.
I would say to
Because
Egwene,
Rand-
it would seem like
No,
Rand
no,
was
no.
cheating on her.
No, because Rand is dead to Egwene. So this is like when you're dead, you cannot date anymore. And now you're saying that no, like Rand it's gone. Rand has to move on from Egwene. What happened?
You can't let me
Yeah,
flip
Matt, be
sides
consistent.
just to hate on Rand just a little bit. Come on. That's the one thing I ask for from this podcast. Nobody gives me a chance to hate on Rand. I try to hate on Rand. Bubba gets on me. I try to hate on Rand. Priscilla gets on me. Everybody, I want to hate on Rand, but that's okay. I won't hate on Rand for you guys. And despite the fact that he doesn't understand his feelings, that he treats women like crap, that he has no conception of what being an adult is actually like.
Hold on.
He's an adult in the show.
No. He has conception of being being an adult is because he knows how to pay his bills.
Well, is Rand going to be here? I'll speculate. Hopefully I can and not get into trouble. In my own mind, I'm speculating, is Rand going to be upset with Moiraine because she came in right in the middle of being busy? He's trying to live his life. You know, he said, leave me alone, tell everybody I'm dead, and she won't leave him alone. Or is he going to be accepting of somebody who just saved his life? Part of me worries it's going to be the former and not the latter.
Well,
but Bubba, if they keep Rand as in the books, he's going to always be upset with Moiraine. Moiraine went to Cairhien and did what Rand could not do: convince Logain to train Rand.
Yes,
by offering to let him kill himself.
No. Let's going to see if Rand is going to thank her.
Yes.
Wait and see.
Let's go.
So, Moiraine, thank you.
Lauren Balfe recently did a great Ask Me Anything on his Instagram account. And there was one question that came up from Katie's Literature Corner that I found particularly interesting, and Lauren's answer particularly interesting. Katie asked, while composing Season 2's score, did you adapt and create new iterations of character themes to parallel how they are growing and changing in the plot? And Lauren's answer was, there is a darkness to come of the characters, so a new tone is working within their themes. The same with strength. Now, I find this very interesting because I think we found at least one example of this in the third episode regarding Nynaeve and Lan's theme. We all heard it back in, was it episode 7, I believe, where Nynaeve went and had the dinner with Lan and what kind of qualifies as his family, his adopted family, so to speak. And this lovely theme played as they continued to fall deeper and deeper for each other. And we heard that in this third episode when Nynaeve first sees Lan as she's leaving the tower. Now, granted, she's still in the third arch, but she's not exactly aware of that, I don't think, until the arch reappears, and then she ignores the arch. But we do hear Lan and Nynaeve's theme. One thing that happens is before Nynaeve realizes that it's still part of the arch, everything in this part of the theme is very happy. It sounds like its normal version of the theme, like this. All of those chords point towards a major key. And what does major do? It tends to make us feel happier, lighter, more hopeful. All of those wonderful, lighter feelings, right? This opposes the way that minor chords make us feel. Minor chords make us feel darker, sometimes sadder, sometimes scarier. So when we hear a happy sound, we even as an audience get fooled into thinking that maybe this is really happening. Maybe they're going to get together. Because we know at that point that Lan has been sent away by Moiraine. So it's a nice little psych, a nice little fake out, so to speak. But as Lauren mentioned to Katie's Literature Corner, there's a darkness here. And the darkness is the fact that Nynaeve's still in the arch, that none of this is actually happening. So when the arch starts to kind of show itself up at Nynaeve's back, we shift to the relative minor key. What that means is that the notes of the melody can stay the same, but they're against a different key signature that sounds minor. And there's also some rhythm added underneath by drums that tell you that it's treble. It's treble telling, a double T. So in the relative minor, that note would be this, and it would be played at this rhythm. You put the melody on top of that, and you get this. Again, it's the exact same notes, but it's not the same harmony, and that creates a different emotional context. Love the way that works. There was something else that Lauren was asked about the Seanchan theme, and I'm sorry I didn't get who asked this question, but it essentially was, Lauren answered what the Seanchan theme was about by saying that it's almost kind of an inversion of the Sedai theme, which is kind of the main theme of the show. We talked about that in last week's musical analysis and how it was applied to Moiraine. But let's examine exactly what the similarities and the differences are. How does the Seanchan theme invert from the Aes Sedai theme? Well, first let's look at the full Seanchan theme. It sounds like this. There's one particular note in there that really makes it sound weird, I suppose you might say. Not like most harmonies that we're used to hearing, and that's the flat fifth. Now, in the Aes Sedai theme, that flat fifth doesn't exist, but one thing that I noticed is that the Seanchan theme starts higher and resolves down to the same note that the Aes Sedai theme starts from and goes in the opposite direction. So the Aes Sedai theme sounds like this. And you can hear that there are some similar notes, but you can also hear that the Seanchan theme tends to go lower, it tends to dip down, whereas the Aes Sedai theme tends to go up. That's why melodic shape is important. Seanchan going down indicates to us a more negative feeling, while the Aes Sedai goes up. Still, there are notes in common. For instance, both themes have this note in it. Both themes have this note in it. And when you combine some other notes from the different melodies and play them all at the same time, which is essentially what our brain kind of does without us even realizing it, but when you hear the Aes Sedai theme, you get this kind of feeling, which is not the most comfortable feeling in the world, and it's not intended to be, because that creates a dominant chord, and that makes us a little bit tense, because dominant chords make us tense and want something more. On the other hand, the Seanchan combined notes sound like this. And again, you get that this isn't quite right kind of feeling from it. And that's principally because, again, that flat fifth exists, this note. Now, we only got a glimpse of the Seanchan last season, and we got that full theme as they were out there on the boat and using a wave to kill a little girl. But when the stuff with Uno happens in the third episode, there's even more dimension of things not being right and feeling even darker, because we just saw what happened to Uno. As everybody bows, there's an additional chord that's added in there that fits with the rest of the melody, but doesn't really fit with the overall harmony that we're used to there. And that's the chord that I'm going to leave you with. We'll be back with another segment here in just a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the game that everybody's been itching to play. It's That Sexy Scene, where we try to identify the most lecherous scene in these episodes that we're reviewing. Let's begin with our first contestant, Priscilla. What was that sexy scene for you in these two episodes?
I think there is no contest. It was hands down the revelation that Rand Altor is into bondage.
Well,
Like he was into it. He was ready to go, but Celine had to talk about monsters and what's not. She killed the mood. Yeah, it was like a turn off for him that she could channel.
I really enjoy me some Gamelin barbecue, but that's just my fetish. Bubba, what was your fetish in these episodes?
well, you take two lovely young women and they're grabbing their hands around some wood and mopping. Yes, that's it. It's Elaine and Egwene mopping. I will never forget that. That was the sexiest scene.
As for me,
Well, you didn't let me introduce you, man.
that's fine, Coach. You can go. As for me, I believe that quite possibly the fact that Logain, every time he has a bottle of Gai'don Red within his view, his demeanor instantly changes. He is ready to suck that red down. He wants to savor each and every drop of that Gai'don Red, much in the same way that anybody else would look at their lover. Logain looks at Gai'don Red, well, and knives, in such a lustful way, it cannot be denied.
That was a terrible answer, Matt. That's all we've got time for. Let's move on to some feedback. We'll play again sometime soon. Bye-bye.
So we have some wonderful feedback coming to us this time around, mostly from our YouTube videos. We want to say thanks to Mila SN 2010 for just stopping by and saying welcome back. We appreciate it. Here's our first bit of feedback regarding Wheel of Time in general and our excitement about the first two episodes. Glenn 9593 says, I couldn't disagree more with you guys liking Wheel of Time. It is hands down the worst thing I've watched this year, and I saw Secret Invasion. I read the books when they first came out and then a few times after, and they're great. That's what makes the TV show even worse. But even if I hadn't read the books, I don't think I'd like the show, as my main complaint is how boring the show is. Well, it sounds to me like you and Bubba should be friends. Glenn 9593. Because Bubba thinks all but 5 minutes of the fourth episode was pretty boring too.
Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Everybody likes certain things and dislikes certain things. I thought season 2 was a step up. I thought the first 3 episodes were really good at season 2. And I do think where we're going at the end of episode 4 is exciting. It's just in this one sliver of time, I am with Glenn on episode 4 being a little slow, but most likely Glenn hasn't even watched episode 4, so we're fine.
Probably so. Glenn, maybe, I don't even know if you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, whatever, but hopefully I would ask you to just try and give it a chance. That's just me. Rantalamore, that's a great name, says loving season 2 because it has complex characters, costumes, and Selene. So that would be a quadruple C, I believe.
Whoa, quadruple C. Good work,
Yeah.
Rant.
I really like this new character, Selene. Very good.
Selene. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, Bubba, can you tell me, because this was directed directly at me, I probably should read it, but why don't you read it so it'll sound like you're actually coming down on me?
Okay, so this user with the name Tralfamadorian agent is responding to Matt. Matt had mentioned that Egwene was seemingly being with Rand in the first season, as a sex partner, but being uncomfortable in season 2, seeing these other Aes Sedai like Alana in bed with her warders. So this person wrote, I think there's a lot of gradients between having had sex and being comfortable with walking in on a threesome. It's not a binary between being a prude or a libertine.
And I agree. Yeah, Matt, you learn a new thing.
Yeah,
right now.
well, and just like that, white is the absence of color. So
no,
it's all colors. No. I gotta go back and check the tape. Go back and check the tape on that. So one of the things that I did this is a failure of mine to communicate. I was also talking about her conversation with Alana, and Alana thinking she was talking about sex, and discussing sex directly with Egwene, when Egwene was just trying to come in and learn about a weave. On top of that, there is something in the books, and this is why it was in the Book Reader podcast and not in the TV podcast, but I'm going to put this here. There is an aspect to Egwene in the books that is very much, this is not proper for anyone else, except when it happens to me, and then that's fine. So that was something else that I was trying to get at. It was the fact that, which is one of the things that drives me crazy about Egwene, as I mentioned earlier, is the fact that there are so many things. My point is this: if she was having the threesome, it would be absolutely cool, but because someone else is having it, it's not cool. That's what I thought that Rafe was trying to say in the subtext, to give a nod to book readers, is all I'm saying. But it doesn't work well for the show, because Egwene has had sex with Rand.
Maybe the sex with Rand was just like something forgettable. She doesn't consider it was like.
You sure you don't want to do a Rand hater segment?
She just doesn't consider it was like sex.
Right.
It was
she
just
said
like she's still virgin.
Wait,
that doesn't cover the rent for her.
You're in there?
I knew a girl that she was like that. She's like, her first time wasn't good, so she was like, it didn't happen.
Jen Liz 6248 says, book reader, and I'm loving it. I liked most of the first season, but it did have its problems, and this is a big improvement. Excellent.
Yes.
Dwayne Swab 3420. This was in response. This is my absolute favorite bit of feedback that we got. I was complaining about Loial recovering from the Shadow Morgoth blade, and Dwayne Swab 3420 says, in my headcanon, Padan Fain stabbed Loial in one of his pockets that was filled with books.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Loial was irate that his previous time was ruined, but he was alive and rue to the loss. Yes. I love that, because Loial in the books he just carries so many books with him. I don't know how anybody get a knife in there. Finally, Geometrics, that's with a 0 and then a 1 and 2 X's, says, this show is so horrible. Stop shilling.
Pooping on the podcast. Yeah.
I would love to.
Yeah, please pay us to shill, please.
Yeah. I want somebody to pay me as Rand is paying Celine.
Whoa.
No.
Folks, a late addition to the feedback of the podcast. We did take a poll when the episode first aired and asked people to rate it between marvelous, good, fair, and poor. The majority of you voted good or marvelous, for a total of 50% for marvelous, 31.8% for good, and the rest of you voted fair or poor. Actually, more people did for poor than they did for fair. Fair, once again, only got 4.5%, while poor got 13.6%. So the majority of us did like the episode. Some of them felt like Bubba. Some of them felt worse about it than Bubba. Guys, we are halfway through the season already.
Wow.
We are halfway through the Wheel of Time. In just 2 weeks, we've managed to see 4 episodes. There will only be 8. And that's great. It's great that we get so many episodes, but it also means that soon it will be over. But what I want to know is, how do you guys feel about the season so far? And I know that by discussing a couple of episodes together, you can probably put it together a little more easily as a listener where we're at overall. But Priscilla, if we're at the exact halfway point of the season and you consider the whole LANFEAR thing kind of the mid-season finale, did we do a good job with these first 4 episodes overall?
Incredible job. And I'm mystified with Liandrin. I think she's the best character so far. Liandrin has taught me that you cannot spell dark friend without the word friend. So
I love it. I love it. That's great. Bubba, on the flip side here, you had some concerns about this 4th episode. Do you have any worries that this might trend that way towards the end of the season?
I do have worries about that, Matt. But what I will say in defense of this 4th episode that just rubbed me the wrong way, this 2nd season is much better than the 1st season. And what I said when talking about episodes 1 and 2 of season 2 is that it showed like they knew what they were doing. They knew they were focusing on these things with purpose. And in the 1st season felt scattershot. This season, it feels like, okay, this is the point we're trying to end up at. I had troubles with a lot of episode 4, as I've said too much, but even in that trouble, it does feel like, okay, they know where they're going. And that gives me confidence as a viewer to say, okay, this whole 2nd season is going to be better than the 1st and most likely end at the fireworks factory that I so desperately want to see.
We got fireworks in the episode.
Yeah, we did.
With the Illuminators and the Days de Mar. So there's always a fireworks factory going on somewhere. As always, we loved your feedback. We absolutely loved your feedback. Don't forget to check out the video of Book Readers Go to Hell, but I Love Bubba. And also be sure to give us your feedback by tweeting, X posting. Jeez, that sounds so bad. By sending a post to me on X, Bust Blockbuster, or to @theword_double, the letters PHQ, on all socials. That includes Instagram and Facebook /PHQ. And you can also, of course, leave comments on our YouTubes. Find those at youtube.com/@theword_double, the letter P, the word media. Same for emails. hello@doublepmedia.com. And my email address is mattsaudioblog@gmail.com. If you can tell me which 4 television franchises have been made of those background placard cards that the lyrics for that song are on, then you have a chance to win a $100 certificate from Amazon. And I'll see how that translates out to UK or wherever you are in the world. We love having you. Also, don't forget all of the great Double P stuff that's out already. Bubba and I are covering Ahsoka. For the Star Wars fans, Bubba, as always, is doing a magnificent job covering like murder comedy type shows. Bubba, did After Show just wrap up, or have you wrapped up that coverage?
Yeah, the after party just ended. We're a little halfway through season 3 of Only Murders in the Building. If you love putting your wits together and solving crime, you're going to join us on these shows and have a really good time.
And Priscilla, without doubt, you are absolutely going to be covering Wheel of Time on your YouTube channel. That's @PriscillaTV1.
Doing my my video, so like the last one, it was like 20 minutes for the 3 episodes that I had to edit. So it was just fun to do a video, a real video, not like a podcast or anything else or live. So it was cool.
You'll get another separate podcast for Book Talk in the near future. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on Bust Blockbusters. Bye.
Send emails to mattsaudioblog@gmail.com and find all back episodes and other information at mattsaudioblog.com. Part of Double P Media, doublepmedia.com.